Hey everyone, it's me, Dr. V, Dr. Vidya. I'm a GP life transformation coach and mummy to two cheeky little monkeys. So I wanted to come on live today because I've had a lot of people reach out to me, clients, friends, family, etc. Just kind of trying to gain some understanding and gain some support around everything going on at the moment. So what I wanted to do is to start doing weekday live stream for about 10 minutes every weekday, and then we'll just see how it goes. We'll adjust the timings, but probably around this sort of time, so like 10:30ish GMT. That's nighttime. I know it's late, but that's when I know that my two babies are definitely asleep. So they tell me, and it means that I can actually do this. So because if anyone's got kids, you know that you just kind of need to just adjust things around. So if you hear like some buzzing noise, that is the white noise machine. So yeah, I will adjust the lighting and sound and all of that stuff as I go along. I'm sorry I've come on really late. I did say I'd do this at 9:45, but I'm really late because one, I'm Tamil, and I'm just joking. But I'm late because I was trying to actually set up YouTube live stream, because I'm actually making my new show on YouTube. So Dr. V, The Great Awakening, trying to find the positive side of everything that's going on at the moment, so that we can all find meaning and some purpose with everything that's happening, and so that we can look after our mental health and our emotional health and take that to the next level, right? So the other reason why I'm doing this is I'm not at all like, look, I'm a doctor as well. I'm not negating at all of the suffering and hardship that so many people are going through, whether they're patients or family or all of the different types of key workers and everyone on the front line, NHS workers, but also all our amazing delivery men and women, just everybody. So there's a lot going on. So I'm not negating that, that it's in some ways a really crazy time and a lot of suffering going on. But I really believe in finding meaning, resiliency. So I'm a resilience coach. Resiliency is when you find some sense of purpose and meaning in everything that's going on. And one, that can keep you going. But two, it can actually help you to grow. So that it's almost like, not that we want this to happen to those that are suffering, but as a human, as a collective, as humanity, if that makes sense, not as an individual person, as a humanity, we can rise up, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Because sometimes things need to be knocked down, if you like, in order to create something more beautiful. So the way I like to look at this is that the world is under construction at the moment, and there's going to be like a massive grand reopening, and things are going to be so much better, completely reordered in a way that we would have never expected, and it helps us to grow, right? Be creative, think of doing things in a different way. So this is all growth. If you've also read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, he's a psychologist that was in Auschwitz, I pronounced that correctly, and he survived the Holocaust, and he said that the biggest thing that really kept him going through the Holocaust was giving himself some sense of purpose as to why this was happening, So, still again something really, really awful was happening, but again he found meaning in it, and he then used that to actually lecture later on once he actually survived, and that's gone on to form a lot of our resilience training today. So that's, although we didn't want him to go through that, that at least has helped has helped humanity now. So does that make sense? So the other thing I wanted to say is the way I do things is a bit differently to some other coaches. Yes, I'm a life coach, career coach, you can coach in anything. But for me, I'm very spiritual. Okay, I'm very spiritual. And yes, I'm a doctor. Yes, I'm an academic, and I'm an examiner, a medical teacher, and that's my whole CV. But I'm a very spiritual being. And I think this, for me, has really taught me to be more my authentic self. And I feel like sometimes the society we're in, we're responsible for our own actions, but maybe we feel like we need to kind of hide our light a bit sometimes in order to conform, because maybe it might be seen as you being too much or too different. But I feel like I've always been my authentic self, but I feel like I now want to take my spirituality to a next level, and I'd love to share that with you as well, if you're up for it. So if that's not for you and it doesn't resonate with you, that is totally cool. You don't have to watch this. And there are lots of other amazing coaches out there that you can follow as well, who are doing these awesome live videos as well. So that's how I'm going to do it. It's going to be very spiritual, and I'm obviously just giving my opinion. I've got lots of coaching clients and programs if you want to do it on a personal level. So what I like to do normally before my coaching with my clients, what I do myself, is I normally meditate before, and I really think about what is the guidance that this person needs, and I use my intuition. And it took me some time to really harness my intuition. I was kind of like, what is my intuition? How do I know it's my intuition? How do I know it's my gut instinct and not just like IBS? So because especially as a doctor, sometimes you risk and that inner voice, sometimes you have to be really careful because there's like guidelines and all these sorts of different things. So I actually found that quite hard initially. But what I would say is the biggest thing happening now is people are realizing that they need to follow their intuition. And your intuition is whatever you want to call it: spirit, your intuition, the universe, God, whatever God you believe in, whatever religion, it doesn't matter, because this is all about us as humanity, as one. Okay, so if one person is suffering, it's not that it's only them suffering, it's we are all suffering on some level. And equally, if one person is finding enlightenment, then we're all finding that in some way. So we all have like a role to play, if that makes sense. And the way I like to look at it is that we are all spiritual warriors. That's like the avatar that I really like to use. And when I say warrior, I don't mean as in violence, but for me, I mean in terms of like you're putting on my armor, which is my resilience and my strong mindset, and being physically and mentally healthy, and all of those things which are within my circle of control, and being a spiritual warrior of love, and guiding those who do resonate with me and who are looking for meaning or purpose, and that's what I'm here for. If that's what you're looking for, and I'd be honoured to help guide you, as I'm also on my own journey as well. But I'd love to share this journey with you. So what I've been meditating on in the past couple of weeks is I've made some notes as well. So for me, I really feel like this is an evolution of humanity. This is, a lot of people are saying in the spiritual world that this is an evolution of some kind, because it's very bizarre, if you like, how like lots of things have happened, world wars and many different things, but for the first time where everyone has to be at home, globally, and and you're at home, you know, with your loved ones. So it's the way it's happened. It's almost like you're forced to reflect, you know, because there's only so many Facebook lives of spiritual life coaches that you can watch, and you're forced to reflect. You're forced to really think about what's going on, compared to maybe any other time. There's almost something of like, you know, biblical times, the plague and things like that. So this is, in my opinion, happening for some reason. You know, I do believe that humanity needed to just wake up. You know, we were really harming Mother Earth, and you know, we talked about you know, going green and, you know, veganism, and there's all these different movements happening, lots of protests, and I just think, and this isn't one of those, but I do think that it was all getting quite heated, and maybe, in my opinion, maybe this is some sort of wake-up call for all of us, to really think about, you know, am I really doing what I want to do? You know, is this the best way in which for me to serve? Is there more that I can be doing? Am I being the best, you know, citizen of this earth? You know, am I wasting electricity? Am I wasting water? Is there more I could be doing? Am I giving back? All of these things, I think there is a reason. I think that we should be reflecting. So for me, what I've learnt is, you know, I am usually my authentic self, but I really feel like actually I need to be taking that to the next level, because I do feel that maybe I was kind of hiding myself a little bit, or hiding my light a bit. And hey everyone who's come on, by the way, I can see everyone there, you know, Heidi, Amira, the Arlen, what's the name of my son, Ralph, Jaya, everyone. So thank you so much for jumping on, and, you know, do comment as well, want your questions answered, or just share your thoughts. But yeah, so I personally feel that for me it's definitely been about, okay, finding more about my authentic self, and that might not conform to what society thinks of me, you know, maybe, you know, being GP, you know, being mother, you know, all of these different things, we put ourselves in boxes sometimes. And I think the reason why everything's all gone online now as well is because I think society is going to start breaking down. It's basically being torn down from what we know, you know, and that's not meant to be a scary thing, you know, don't panic, but it's meant to show us that there is a better way of doing things, right? Maybe there's a better way of connecting. Maybe there's a better mindset that we're supposed to have about things. And sometimes the only way that happens is if something is taken away and is no longer there, then it changes your perspective about it. So I think that this is a massive cycle in human evolution. And one thing that I've been working on with some of my clients and business partners is working on like getting rid of negativity and toxins, and that can be in so many different ways. It could be physically, your physical health, so getting rid of toxins, healthy diet, changing. I'm definitely considering going vegan. Just order my vegan starter kit, and kind of finishing everything else that we have in the house that we've already got. But it's really made me think about that. So things like that, you know, I'm not saying you have to do that, but just kind of thinking like, oh, I wonder, you know, just really thinking creatively, really thinking like different ways of doing things, thinking outside of the box. And the other thing is control, you know, control issues. Do you feel that you've been controlled in some way? Do you feel that you have been controlling in some way? Why is that? You know, often people feel like they need to control because they have some insecurities about something, and that needs to be addressed, right? And sometimes when these things happen, it's like a tower falling down, but it's because there's actually the foundation wasn't very strong, right? So the foundation wasn't strong for a reason, and none of this has to be scary or has to be, you know, making you feel anxious. This is good. You know, this is knowledge. When we have knowledge, then we can do something about it, right? So this is all about having faith that on some level, you know, again, not negating all the suffering that's going on, and I don't mean that at all, but on some level, as you know, as a society, this is happening for some reason. There's something that we need to learn, and I think we should learn those lessons quickly. Be open, you know, have an open mind, and embrace all the changes. So focus on, I would say the biggest thing is just keep an open mind. You know, like, what is it that I think I could be learning? Really start to listen to your intuition, start to listen to spirit or the universe, whatever you wanna call it, and focus on those different things. Ask for help, right? So I think this is another time of increased support. There's been a lot about be kind, which is great. You know, people finally having more compassion and love for each other and appreciation for everything that everyone does. And you know, it is a shame that it took something like this for us to have that as a society. But you know, whatever, it's done now. And I just think, if you need help, ask for help. I think that's the biggest thing. Support, right? So. And support could be in so many different ways. You give support, you know, sometimes, you know, like there's a lot I'm still learning, but I'm kind of like, okay, well, I've got a lot of, you know, I've got a certain skill set, and I could be really utilizing this in a certain way to really help people, really support people right now, who are really struggling and really suffering, so that's why I wanted to do this as my offering. And one other thing I wanted to mention was about your life purpose, right? Now that's sometimes quite a big thing, like, what is my life purpose? What's the meaning of life? These are big concepts, big things. But it's important, right? So when we're doing everything, you know, it's good, because when you look down your feed now and all these different YouTube videos, etc., you'll see how people are really being very innovative. And this is good. You know, when you're being creative, that's when you're truly expressing your true self, what you really want to do. And it's almost like you can't help it. Like with me with these videos, you can't help it. You know, you want to do it. And if it's being pushed down or suppressed by someone or by some circumstances or whatever, you almost start to feel a bit, I don't know, unwell, or it just feels wrong. So learn to think about what is it that I really want to do, and if it's something completely different to what you're doing now, like, that is okay. You know, that is okay. If you need to have a completely different pathway, that's fine. And also that you are enough. You know, you don't, unless you're, you know, it's some kind of competency-based career, you don't often need to sort of do big, long, elaborate retraining and this and that. You know, like, just start, even if it's, you know, doing videos, you know, like me, or just whatever it is, just start, you know, just start doing it now, what you really, really like to do. You know, like every morning, I sometimes get my trusty notepad after I've done my gratitude journaling, and I'll sometimes just write down, you know, like what, you know, as my mentor Bob Proctor says, and Dr. Spencer Paul, just what is it that I want out of life? You know, what is it that I want? And I don't mean that, you know, it can be materialistically as well. There's nothing wrong with that. But also just, what is it that I really want? You know, what does success mean to me? You know, what is an abundant life? What is prosperity? And you can have prosperity financially. You can have prosperity in love, in peace, freedom of thought, freedom of speech, you know, freedom to do what you want to do, how you want to do it. Freedom to feel safe in your home. There's just so many different ways of looking at the word wealth and prosperity and abundance, and I think that's also financially, and money is good. Actually, money is good, but it's what you do with it. So also looking at that as well. So the biggest lessons I would say for today is be your authentic self. You know, whatever that is, as long as it is for the highest version of all. You know, so obviously if you want to do something and it's not good for other people, then that's not good. But if it's like, I really want to do this, and I don't know why I've stopped myself in the past, but this really feels like me, you know, then just do it. Just do it. And start to develop that. And work towards, if ever you're unsure of, I just don't know if I should be doing this, or I don't know if I don't know if this is right or not, or I'm not sure. What I've learnt is always think, always follow your intuition, because your intuition is always right. When you don't follow your intuition, what you will find is that, like, your intuition starts off with these like little whispers, right? Like, you kind of like, what's that? So it's not quite like that, but you start off with these little whispers of sort of kind of wondering about something, and you kind of ignore it. And then it feels like, you know, someone's like knocking on the door, you know, like it really feels like it's getting louder and louder. And then like it feels like, you know, the wall's falling down. Then it feels like the house is falling down. Then it feels like your world's falling apart. And it's because you're not following your intuition. So the message or the universe or spirit, whatever you want to call it, is getting louder and louder and louder until, you know, it's never, ever, ever too late. But it just basically means that you can no longer ignore it, and you have to do something about it. So follow your intuition and be confident with it, and do it. Be yourself unapologetically. Just go for it. And again, as long as it's for the highest version of all, and just really, like, you know, just sparkle and shine, and don't let anyone take your power. Don't hand it over to others. Don't hand your power over to others, or to society. And I think that this whole movement that's happening now is great. You know, this is the good that's come out of this difficult situation, is that people are really following their intuition and really creating what they really want to create. They're being very reflective on their life. And so please open your mind, embrace the changes. And that's why I'm calling this series The Great Awakening, right? Because I strongly believe this is a spiritual awakening that we are meant to go through, and we're all on our own path, and it's your path, how you choose to do it. And we're all serving in different ways. You know, some of us are doctors, some of us are doing different things. I'm a doctor, I'm on maternity leave at the moment, but still, like, I felt compelled to serve in this way, you know, because obviously, you know, babies are upstairs and I can't physically go out and be on the front line along with my comrades, but I wanted to help. And for me, I really felt a calling to do it in this way, and I feel like this is actually becoming more you know, of my healing platform, if you like. You know, again, something I never years ago would have thought about, even though I was still coaching and mentoring. I never thought I would do it more in this way. So follow your intuition. You never know where it's going to take you. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, comment down below if there's anything that you want to ask me or want me to cover in other videos. So this is definitely coaching. This is spiritual. This is definitely positive. Because, you know, the media are doing a phenomenal job about delivering all the bad news. Please stop watching the news. You do not need to know every single update of every single thing, you know, that's going on regarding this. It's not helpful. It's not going to help you. It's not going to suddenly, you know, not be there tomorrow. So you really don't need any of that. Please stop the alerts on your phone when it goes off every 5 minutes. You know, I was joking with my mum the other day. I was like, oh, I didn't know that you were a BBC journalist, you know, on the slide, because the phone just keeps going off with all these alerts every 5 minutes from all these different news channels. You don't need that. It's not going to help you. I'm sure if I attached, you know, a heart monitor to you, there would be some ectopics every time that alert went off. Like, you just don't do that to yourself. You don't need it, okay? This is going to go on for some time, okay? Let's just embrace it. It is what it is. Right? This is the school of life. This is Earth. This is the world. It's evolution. Just, you know, we're all here. We're all spiritual warriors. We've got a choice. Okay? This is what I want to leave you with. We've got a choice. Actually, I was teaching this yesterday. So here we go. So we've got a choice. Okay, so we've got fear. Can you see that? We've got fear and we've got faith. You can, if you want, be very fearful, watch millions of news updates of every single death and every single awful thing that's happening. And then what happens is it starts to filter all of this stuff into your conscious mind, and then that percolates down into your subconscious mind. And because it changes your thoughts, it starts to go down to your body, which means it starts to affect your behavior and your actions. So, for example, if you're really scared, you might be then thinking, oh, well, you might not eat as healthily, maybe, or you're just very negative and your vibration goes to other people, and they then have negative behavior traits, or they stop working, or they're not very productive, or they just kind of laze around and sleep all day and get fat, become an alcoholic, in all of this time that we're having off. So fear can be very dangerous if you don't use it in the right way. So you can be scared. You can doubt yourself. You can really doubt yourself. You can doubt everything that's going on. You panic. And panic makes you do silly things like buy shares in toilet paper. And then what happens is it starts to actually go down to the physical level, which is where you're having anxiety. Okay, so there's chest pangs, it's anxiety, it's too much news, too much just talking about it in a negative way. I know it's hard to do it in a positive way, but just it's not going to help. Okay, it's not going to suddenly go away tomorrow. Just don't do it to yourself. You get anxiety. What happens next? You get depressed. You don't feel at ease, so you get disease, and body disintegrates, and that's just kind of how it happens. But instead, you cannot be ignorant. I'm not saying you're ignorant, but you can not, just because it's on the news, it doesn't mean it is completely true, or that they're not presenting all of the facts, right? So what about all the people that have recovered or are doing really well? It's not every single person. But I'm not saying don't follow the guidelines and all of the rest of it, but I'm just saying equally, there is another option, which is focus on what you can control. Okay, just focus on what you can control. Have faith, trust the process, and then it's the opposite to anxiety. So you have well-being and wellness. You feel good, you vibrate high, you feel like, yeah, I've got this. There's like so much I can do to help people. I'm a spiritual warrior, and my chosen service is being a doctor, being a postal worker, being an amazing mom, and just homeschooling right now, doing all of it. Whatever it is, and I've left out loads there, but whatever it is that your chosen path, there is no right, there is no wrong, there is no greater, there is no lesser. It just is. Okay, it's just, we are all unique spiritual beings. We are all here on earth in this specific in this specific moment in time in history. We are here for a reason. What is your reason? Okay, what is your reason? Make it worth it. Do something. Be productive. It doesn't matter what it is, but do something that is actually helping other people, raising the vibration of the collective, to be positive. So helping people in whatever way that is. And that's what you always have a choice. Whatever's happening in your life. You can be fearful or you can have faith. And remember, worrying does not change anything. It's a rocking chair. It's like a rocking chair. Gives you loads to do. Keeps you very busy. You don't go anywhere. And it makes you feel crap. Okay? So be aware of what's going on, but you do not need to know every single update. Instead, watch good news, focus on raising your vibration, think about, right, what project can I do in the next couple of weeks, or possibly months, however long this goes on for. And I'm really going to focus on my spiritual awakening and really work on what is my higher purpose, what is the highest version of myself, what is it that I can be doing right here, right now to do this, that my future self is going to thank me for, and work on myself. So I hope you found that useful. If you did, please comment below and let me know if there's any other way in which I can help you. And I will see you tomorrow. Take care, and thank you so much for joining. Take care. Bye, guys.